You walk into a room you have never been in before, and then it hits you. The angle of the light, the smell of the air, the way the furniture is arranged. You have been here, you are certain of it. The feeling is so strong, so specific, that for a moment you stop moving and just stand there, trying to grab hold of it. And then it slips away, and you remember, you have never been here, you couldn't have. Almost everyone has felt this. Roughly 2/3 of people report experiencing déjà vu at some point in their lives, and almost everyone who feels it reaches for the same explanation: an old memory surfacing from somewhere, a past life, a dream, a glitch in the simulation. None of those explanations are correct. What you actually felt was your brain making a memory, right now in real time, and making it slightly wrong. To understand why, you need to understand something most people don't know about how memory works. Your brain doesn't store memories the way a computer stores files. There is no single location where a memory lives, no folder you open to retrieve it. A memory is a pattern, a web of connections spread across different regions of the brain, stitched together each time you recall it. And the process of storing a memory is not instantaneous. It takes time. It takes steps. When you experience something new, a room, a face, a conversation, two things happen simultaneously. Your brain begins building the explicit memory, the detailed, conscious record of what you're experiencing. This is what you'll later be able to describe, to narrate, to say, I remember when. But at the same time, a second, faster system is running. It's older, more automatic, and it operates below the level of conscious thought. This system handles familiarity, the sense that something has been encountered before. It doesn't care about details. It doesn't store the full picture. It simply answers one question, instantly. Does this feel known, or does it feel new? Under normal circumstances, these two systems work in sync. You walk into a familiar cafe, and both systems agree, yes, you've been here before. You walk into a hotel room for the first time, and both systems agree, this is new. But occasionally, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when your brain is processing a great deal at once, the timing slips. The familiarity system fires a fraction of a second early. Before the explicit memory system has finished its work, before it has a chance to say, wait, I have no record of this place, the familiarity signal has already gone out, and the result is déjà vu. Your brain registers the current moment as familiar, deeply, convincingly familiar, before it has finished checking whether it actually should be. The explicit memory system catches up half a second later and finds nothing. No matching record, no stored experience that fits. But the feeling has already landed, and it doesn't disappear just because the evidence says it shouldn't be there. This is why déjà vu feels so disorienting. You are experiencing two contradictory pieces of information at the same time: the powerful feeling of familiarity and the logical certainty that the feeling cannot be justified. Your brain is telling you two things at once, and both feel equally true. Researchers have been able to study this in remarkable ways. In experiments using hypnosis, scientists were able to induce déjà vu in participants by creating a situation where the familiarity signal was artificially separated from the memory retrieval system. Participants experienced the classic sense of having been somewhere before, even when they logically knew they hadn't. The feeling was real. The memory it claimed to be based on was not. Even more revealing is what happens in people with temporal lobe epilepsy. Before a seizure, some patients experience déjà vu so powerful and so sustained that it lasts for minutes at a time. The electrical activity in the brain's memory regions is misfiring, and it produces a continuous, overwhelming sense of familiarity with no source. Everything feels recognized. Everything feels like a memory, but there is nothing behind it. This gives us a window into what déjà vu actually is. Not the surfacing of a forgotten experience, but the misfiring of a feeling that normally serves a very specific purpose. That feeling, familiarity, is one of the most useful signals your brain produces. It allows you to move through a world full of people, places, and situations without having to consciously evaluate everything from scratch. You recognize your front door without thinking about it. You recognize a friend's voice before you've processed their words. Familiarity is a shortcut your brain uses thousands of times a day, and most of the time it is precise and reliable. Déjà vu is what happens when the shortcut misfires. And here is what makes this genuinely strange. The misfiring is not random. It follows patterns. Déjà vu is more common in young adults than in older people, peaking in the 20s and declining steadily after that. It increases when you are tired, when you are anxious, when you are traveling and encountering many new environments in quick succession. It is more frequent in people who travel a lot, in people who watch more films, in people who have rich and active dream lives. Each of these patterns points to the same underlying mechanism: a brain under cognitive load, processing many new inputs, running low on rest, operating under stress, is a brain where the timing between memory systems is more likely to slip. The familiarity signal is more likely to outrun the explicit retrieval system, and the result is that strange, sourceless feeling of having been here before. Seen this way, déjà vu is not a malfunction. It is evidence that your memory system is working hard, perhaps too hard, or too fast, but working. The people who never experience déjà vu are not experiencing something healthier. Studies of people with certain kinds of brain damage or memory disorders have found that damage to the regions responsible for the familiarity signal can eliminate déjà vu entirely. And those people described something unsettling: a world that never feels familiar, even when it should. Every moment slightly off, slightly strange. Recognition without the feeling of recognition. The feeling we find so disorienting turns out to be one we cannot do without. What déjà vu reveals, in the end, is the complexity of what seems like the simplest thing in the world. You remember something, you recognize something, you feel as if you've been somewhere before. These experiences feel instantaneous, automatic, obvious, the most basic operations of a functioning mind. But underneath each of them is an intricate process involving multiple brain regions, multiple timing systems, multiple layers of processing that must coordinate in fractions of a second to produce a single coherent experience. Déjà vu is the moment when that coordination briefly fails. And in failing, it shows you something you would never otherwise see: the hidden machinery of how your mind makes sense of the world. You walk into a room you've never been in, and for one strange moment, your brain tells you a story that isn't true. But the fact that it can tell you that story, the fact that the system is complex enough to misfire in exactly this way, is one of the more remarkable things about the 3 pounds of matter sitting behind your eyes. The glitch is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign of everything that has to go right.